So did you have a nice discussion with your partner?
Yes.
Okay, so some of you talked about things you enjoy with the toddlers. They're fun, they're cute, they like to learn, they like to play, you like to sing songs with them, and they learn language from you. Some of you talked about difficult taking care of a child. Maybe sometimes they have a tantrum. They can't speak, so they don't tell their ideas. It's difficult to understand what they need. And some of you talked about how to help a toddler get dressed if she doesn't want help. You can offer to do part and let the child do part. Like in the example, you can ask the child, or you can tell the child, all right, you can put the shoes on and I'll help you tie it. Or you can put your jacket on and I'll help you button it. So you can do it together. And you can do a lot of things to help a toddler learn language. Most important thing to do is talk to the child. Use language whenever you do something. Whenever you do something, you talk about what you're doing and say, okay, so now we're going to the kitchen and we're taking our bowl into the kitchen and we're putting our bowl up there. So when you talk about things, then the child can learn vocabulary and they can learn meaning. For the list of things, there are a lot of different things that you can do that make that are safe. And I wrote down some here. For example, pots and pans in the kitchen. You can, if they're not too heavy, if they're lightweight pots and pans, children can play with those things and bang them. Did you ever play with pots and pans? Did anybody play with pots and pans? Yes? And they make a lot of noise, and you can make music. It's kind of fun. I used to do that a lot. My parents thought I was very noisy because I liked rhythm and making noise. You can also have kids use some plastic containers for food. Here's some pictures that I'm showing you now of different kind of containers. These are safe. They won't hurt kids, right? So you can let them play with things like that. What about some towels? Towels don't hurt anybody. That's something they can play with. And they can use them to play like they're wiping or washing or cleaning, or they can use them to wear as dresses or put their diapers on their baby dolls. You can have them play with large serving spoons, maybe something made out of wood or made out of plastic like the ones that I'm showing you here on the screen. Those are big enough for them to, wow, you know what I used to do with them? I used to bang the pots with them. Do you ever do that to make music? Maybe you don't do that anymore. Maybe you did that before, or let your children do that. In the bathroom, what can you give them? Well, again, you can let them play with towels. That's not something that is dangerous. It's good to have them play with things like floating bath toys. Do you ever have the kids play with some special bath toys? Plastic ones? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. So especially the kind of toys that can float in the water. Okay, I'm showing you some right now. So there's some babies. They're playing with different toys. When my kids were little, I always used to like to have different toys for them to play with, and they had their favorite toys. So like the favorite one is the little rubber ducky, little yellow rubber ducky. But you know, they're all different other animals and kids and different shapes to play with. So these plastic ones, they can put them in the bathtub and play with them there. Other things that won't hurt them are like maybe they can play with toothbrushes and plastic cups and combs and brushes. Usually those things won't hurt them, so they can just play with them. How about in the yard? Well, of course, you know, in the yard, good things to play with out there are balls, different balls, especially if they're big balls that they can hold on to. If there are things that you have outside that are empty baskets, of course we don't want to put a lot of things inside the baskets, but if they're empty baskets and empty boxes, you can let them play with brooms and garden gloves. You know, those won't hurt them. Boxes are lots of fun. I remember when my son, well, you know, we could get him a toy, but what he really liked to do was take a box, and he liked to break the box. I don't know, it's a very typical boy thing. Do you ever do that? So, for example, I'll give you two examples of two different types of children. You know refrigerators? Refrigerators, when you buy them, they're in a huge, huge box. So I'll tell you the story. My son And my nephew and niece did two different things with the refrigerators, the boxes. So my son took a baseball bat and he hit the box until it damaged it and broke the whole thing up. And he had a lot of fun with that. He liked to hit the box and made noise and it broke it and he felt powerful. My nephew and niece did something different. They cut the door and the window. So they cut a window and they made a house. And they made a store. So they were creative. They use it for architecture. So they cut the window, they cut a door, and then they made pictures. They painted their own, they drew their own pictures, and they put the pictures on the wall inside of their refrigerator, which is now a store. And then we had to go and buy the pictures from them. So we had to have pennies. We had to have 1 cent, and then we would buy. They wouldn't allow us to say, "Oh, we don't like anything." We had to choose some pictures, and then we give them pennies, and then they would give us the pictures, and then they would draw more pictures. So that was lots of fun. Different things you can do with kids, different ways that kids can be creative. Okay.